Hello again, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to another Monday live video. I hope you are all doing well. I'm particularly uncomfortable today. Just entering into the third trimester, and yeah, it's getting tight down there. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling all the feels, and just telling myself that this is the home stretch. So I'm excited for the end result. Is really what I gotta say. That being said, let's talk about the quantum experience today. I really wanted to go quantum. It's been a while since I have talked about really anything quantum, so this is a good time to do it. Things are shifting rapidly. Talk about being pregnant. There's this rebirth that's taking place on the planet right now. And I think we're all kind of feeling that transitional energy. So, today I really want to talk about unlocking your DNA by utilizing a quantum state. So, I'm going to try and explain the best I can some quantum mechanics for you in a very kind of easy way to understand it. And then we're going to talk specifically about how you can get to a place where you're unlocking your DNA and getting connected to a higher vibrational state, a 5D state, a new Earth state within that unlocked DNA. So, before we get to all of that information, just two announcements today. One, if you really love how I explain quantum mechanics and just the quantum world in general, and you want to know more, I have a whole quantum human workshop. It's absolutely incredible. It's about an hour and a half, and I have tons of really awesome exercises for you to play around with. And I love saying this. It's rocket scientist approved. I have a good friend of mine. She's a rocket scientist for NASA and SpaceX. And she's all about quantum mechanics, and she was blown away by it, which is pretty impressive. So, rocket scientist approved. Check it out if you haven't already and you're interested in the quantum world. Second announcement is coming up on February 8th, not 11th. We have the next Galactic Federation Summit. And we have so many interesting questions that we're going to be asking the Galactic Federation. One of the questions from the audience, from all of you, is overpopulation. Are we actually overpopulated? Is this a problem? Are there solutions to this? Or has this been a giant scam this whole time? And are we not actually overpopulated? Do we have enough resources? We're going to be asking a question about the central bank digital currency system and ways to navigate this. I think it's a negative thing, but I want to see what the GFL has to say. And if it is not a good thing, then how can we best kind of understand this and navigate it? And then another question here is about losing and regaining our memories. Do we have to continue to lose our memories when we come back to planet Earth? Do we lose our memories in other incarnations? Or is that just something that happens here? And how do we regain all of our memories from all of our Akashic records? And so many other cool questions. So we'll be deep diving once again February 8th. And if you can't show up live, you can always grab the replay. And then, of course, that weekend I will be at the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles, very pregnant. And I have a great workshop that I'm going to be talking about, same sort of thing, unlocking your cosmic DNA, but getting a little bit deeper into the topic. And I'll be on panels and at mixers and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited to see all of you or whoever decides to show up there. And that being said, let's just dive right into it. Let's start with a topic or a concept called wave-particle duality. I love this concept so much, and it's super expansive, and I'm going to try and summarize it the best I can. So essentially, at the smallest level of the universe, everything is either a wave or a particle. And another way to define wave or particle is solid or vibrational. So a wave energy would literally just be that. It's just energy. If you think about a ton of tiny little atoms all floating in a wave formation, almost kind of like the cloud. This is a little bit chaotic. Everything's everywhere. And then the particle part of the universe is the solid part of the universe, the material part of the universe. So everything in this entire universe is either in a state of wave or particle. And when you get even more quantum, things get even more weird. And there's actually instances where you can be in a state of wave and particle at the same time. So, what did I want to say about this? Yeah. So everything that is solid is also vibrational. So everything that's a particle is also a wave. So the fact that this ring light in front of me I see as a solid object, it's actually in a wave state. I'm just perceiving it in a particle state, mostly because I'm observing it, and we're not even going to touch upon that. So all waves can be particle or physical, kind of vice versa. But we have to realize that everything in this universe is energy first and foremost. And that energy can essentially accumulate together to create density, which therefore creates the particle or the physical material world around us. And I think the coolest thing about quantum physics is the double slit experiment, which I'm not even going to touch upon. But essentially, there have been experiments and studies that prove that through our observation, we actually get to, let's call it manipulate the end outcome of the particle state. So because we are wave beings, we are consciousness, we are energy beings first, our energy, our consciousness, our observation can actually manipulate the world around us, right? Which is just so mind-blowing, and it really gives the power back to us as the creators of this reality, both individually and collectively, because our consciousness is a part of a much bigger consciousness that's out there. So why does this matter? Why does understanding that everything in the universe is either solid or energetic, why does it matter, right? When we talk about unlocking the quantum part of ourselves. So our state of being is dependent on the frequency that we are vibrating at. And I'm going to repeat this because it's important. Our state of being, and you could think of our entire reality as a state of being, is dependent on the frequency that we are vibrating at. A frequency is like a radio wave. So the easiest way for me to even describe or even depict a frequency is like a radio station. You know, I'm aging myself. I'm turning the dial, and each radio station is just a different frequency. And that's kind of how vibration and energy works in the universe and also on planet Earth. So there's something called cymatics. It's really cool. I don't know too much about it, but I definitely have seen quite a few videos. And cymatics is essentially where they apply a sound frequency to a plate of sand, and that sound frequency will actually manipulate the plate of sand so that we can visually see different frequencies. Hopefully that makes sense. If you want, definitely look this up. Google this. YouTube it. It's so cool. cymatics. I actually don't know what the definition of cymatics is. I just know the videos that I've seen. And it allows us once again to visually see sound frequencies. And what's really cool is that the higher the frequency of sound, the more complex the images get within the sand. And then it's like cool. It's, how do I describe this? The lower the frequencies, the more simple the images. And as the frequency gets higher and the images get more complex, what you notice is that the smaller patterns build on the bigger patterns, and it's like everything is actually connected. It reminds me a lot of the tree of life, right? That circle with all of the circles interlaced within that. But if you take away the circle around all the other circles, it just expands infinitely out, which is really just the mathematical equation for source energy, which, does lend credence to the fact that we may be living in a simulation because everything is so mathematically perfect. And I'm definitely of the belief that it's a simulation of sorts. And I do have many other videos on my website about simulation theory if you want to deep dive into that realm. So once again, cymatics is a really cool version of just seeing the different layers of frequency and how those frequencies evolve with different vibrations. Yes, so once again, the higher the frequency, the more complex and expanded/connected the structures get. It's the exact same thing with our own vibrational frequency. The higher we get in the field of energy, the more complex our understanding becomes, the more complex our perception becomes, and the more connected we get to the universal source frequency, which is another way to kind of put universal source frequency is it's all that is. It's all of the knowledge and information in the entire universe. And we can be connected to that. We are intrinsically connected to that. And we lose that connection by densifying ourselves. And we're going to talk about how to release that density and get into those higher frequencies in a second. So this world and us are being hit with extremely high vibrational frequencies at this time. Some of them are cosmic radiations, some of them are actually just solar flares, and some of them, they all kind of culminate into something called the Schumann resonance. And what's happening is as these vibrations hit the planet, it's mutating and changing our atomic structure. Once again, we live in a vibrational reality first and foremost, and that vibrational reality affects the physical material world around us. And especially because we're biological beings, and not just that, but we are multidimensional physical biological beings, we have a lot of capacities within us that just have been untapped. And one of the greatest capacities that I believe in is something called junk DNA. And I love doing the quotations around junk DNA because science has just written off, I think it's close to 90%, it's crazy, of our DNA as just, don't worry about it. We used to use it, don't use it anymore. We never needed to use it, don't worry about it. We can't explain it. We don't know why it's there, so it's just junk. I understand that nothing is actually ever junk, and we have the capacity to unlock and utilize all of our DNA, just like we have the capacity to unlock and utilize all of our brain capacity. And we would be remiss if we didn't even question what junk DNA is, or we didn't even question the full capacity of our brain, to process the world around us or the worlds around us. So how do we unlock our junk DNA? How do we access a higher state of being? How do we access this quantum reality? And before I get there, one more time, it's actually going to be quite a short video, probably because I'm not feeling too great today. Two things, once again, if you love this topic and you want a deep dive and you want to hear all of my kind of perceptions on the quantum world, check out the Quantum Human Workshop. And then we also have a really epic Galactic Federation workshop coming up on February 8th. So check that out as well, or check out the recording after. So how do we unlock this junk DNA? So there's a quote that comes up, or like a story that comes to mind, and I was going to write it down, but I'm just going to like mention it. Some of you may know it, some of you don't. And it's called, I don't even know how to summarize this, like, which wolf do you feed, right? There's like two wolves, they're both hungry. It's kind of like having the angel and the devil on your shoulders, right? So my question to you is, which frequency are you feeding? Which reality are you creating? Because whatever frequency you're feeding is essentially the reality that you're going to experience around you and within you. That's the DNA capacity, that's the brain processing capacity that you're going to be working with, is the vibrational frequency that you're feeding. So then the question is, well, how do I know what vibrational frequency I'm feeding? So I asked myself, how do I summarize the fifth dimension frequency? And I don't even want to get into the different dimensions. How do I summarize a high frequency versus a low frequency in a very, very simple way? And here's what I came up with. And it's going to be such an eye roll for those of you who have been in this field for a while. And if you haven't seen a lot of my videos, it's going to really hit home. So the number one word that I could use for a high vibrational frequency is love. Another word for love, because sometimes we get love misinterpreted, is appreciation or gratitude. The easiest way to hop in to a high vibrational frequency or access more complex realms of understanding, perceiving, and connection is through gratitude, appreciation, and love. And if you feel you can't love something like your job or your neighbor or your whatever coworker or something like that, and you don't have any appreciation for certain things in your life, find something. Find anything. It's not about taking action to find more love in your life. It's about looking at your life and finding love with what you already have. So important. A really good example of this, which has been coming up with multiple people in my life, and I've been teaching them and then reminding myself at the same time. A lot of people are like, I'm going to the gym, I got a personal trainer, and I'm finally loving myself more. And I have to say to them, without the gym, without a personal trainer, without a diet, would you still love yourself? It's not about the action that we're taking in the physical reality. It's about the vibration that we choose to be in when we're perceiving the physical reality. There will always be densities around us, but how are you perceiving, interpreting those densities, those realities? In order to up-level any aspect of your life, especially the ones that are not fully serving us, we need to find one small aspect of that thing that we can have gratitude for, that we can appreciate. Another really good example of this is your job, right? So many times, and I've been there too, it's like, EA, how do I increase my vibration when I go to work every day and I resent my boss and I resent my paycheck and I resent my job and I hate what I do and I'm in the 9 to 5 and I just feel stuck? And I get it, because a job is where you're feeding a lot of your time and your energy. So I say start small. What is one aspect of your job that you can appreciate? Why do you even go? If you don't go because it's not your mission, if you go because it's not about the people that you like there, you go because of the paycheck. Great. Even if you feel underpaid, take a look at that money. appreciate it, connect with it, have gratitude for it. And what happens is you raise your vibration within that thing, which is in this case finances or your own physical body, and you attract more good things within that realm of your life. It's amplified and it creates a lot of abundance as we do this. So it's not about making change. It's about changing your mindset and finding different areas of the aspects of your life to appreciate and have gratitude for. If we can hold the space of love for every aspect of our life, we're going to get to a point where all of the things that don't actually serve us collapse naturally, organically. It's a little bit scary. It's the transition. And then new things come into our life that match the frequency that we were holding for the old things. If that makes sense. Our vibration needs to change first before our physical reality changes after. And that's just what it comes down to. It's not the other way around. If you want to feel better about something, you don't make a physical choice around it. You change your vibration first, and then the world around you changes. Not the other way around. It never works that way. I keep dieting, I keep working out, I keep doing all these things, and nothing's working. I'm not losing weight. Do you even love yourself, right? It's like, oh my God, I started to really love myself, and now the weight's just dropping off, and I'm eating Twinkies all the time. I don't know, right? It's really crazy how rapidly things change when you start to enter into a higher vibration and making a choice to enter into that higher vibration. So then what's a lower vibration? Fear. Fear, doubt, uncertainty, anxiety, attachment, jealousy, expectation, want, need, all of that can be under the umbrella of fear. It's a denser frequency to be in. And that's really what it comes down to. So naturally, your DNA will unlock as you enter into these higher frequencies. There's no mathematical equation that you have to apply to your life to decode and decipher the DNA strands that are within you. You naturally get more connected to the universe as you choose higher vibrations. So, where are you feeding your energy? What reality are you choosing to feed? It takes a certain amount of radical responsibility for us to take a look at our own lives, understand that everything that's happening in our lives we've created, and then to make the choice, if I created all of this, then I can uncreate it. Then I can recreate it. Then I can choose a life that not only serves me, but also serves the collective along the way. And that, I think, is really moving into this quantum state where everything is possible. And it's not to sugarcoat reality, because at the end of the day, change is inevitable, and so is challenge. But if we can be present with change, if we can accept change wholeheartedly, if we can be present with challenge, then we're not resisting anything in our lives. Then we're actually in flow with everything. If we can actually appreciate challenge, sometimes it takes a year to look back and appreciate the challenges in the past. Sometimes it takes a month to look back and appreciate the challenges we just went through. But as you raise your vibration, that time of challenge and appreciation for the challenge, understanding it allowed you to grow, gets shorter and shorter and shorter, to the point where you get challenged And you can flip that shit in 10 minutes. You're like, oh, okay, this is why this is happening. Great, thank you for this shitty day. Like, really though, thank you for the experience. It's all a part of it. And it is quite an experience, I will say myself. So that's it. That's all she wrote. That's all I have. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Definitely smash the like button and share this video to those who you think this will help, because that's what I'm here for. I'm just here to help and open minds, change perceptions, and seek out the truth. Until next time, I will see all of you in LA or in the fifth dimension frequency, one or the other. Bye for now.